Yes, thanks for joining me once again and welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV. Now today we're here at Townfoot Farm in Thornhill on the Scottish borders to cover round 2 of the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club's 2021 Championship. Now today we'll have racing from pre-68, pre-75s. We'll also have racing for the pre-1984 bikes, or the twin shock bikes as they used to be known, and we'll also have racing from the 125 class, which is a brand new class that's been introduced for the 2021 racing season. So we've already had our walk through the paddock and taken a look at some of the lovely bikes. Let's just go straight into race 1 and let's get down to some classic racing action.
Yes, and our first race of the day is the pre-1968 up to and over 350cc. As you can see, the weather at the moment is absolutely perfect, but we do have a couple of showers forecast for later in the day. Now your official starter today is Stuart Riddle, and so as they leave the line, a good start there by Peter Dobinson on that lovely Rickman Triumph. But I think it's Liston Bell who's now your race leader as they begin lap 1. And Liston Bell's riding his 600 Jawa machine. Looks like Liston's got quite a good start on this first lap, so it's Liston first. Second now is Andrew King on the HIS Stormer. Third is Peter Dobinson. Fourth is Fergus Moody. Fifth is Lewis Bell, and at number 112 there is Andrew Johnston on his lovely little dot. Now it's a very short lap here at Townfoot Farm in Thornhill, so the races will be coming fast and furious, so it doesn't take these guys long to complete a lap of this Thornhill racetrack. But we're looking at our race leader who's already on lap 2. It's Liston Bell. Liston, of course, will be taking part in the British Championship event down in Reading next weekend, so I think Liston is using the Thornhill Scramble as a warm-up for that big weekend down there at Butterfield in Reading. Now it normally is quite a short lap here at Thornhill, but I think it's even shorter for this 2021 event, and you can see the riders already coming round to start lap 3. Number 122 there is Fergus Moody on the BSA. Number 4 is Robert Kennedy on that quite rare Cotton Star Maker machine. But it's still Liston Bell, your race leader. Second man here is Andrew King on the HIS Stormer, and third place is Lewis Bell at number 9. Now I think Lewis is also riding one of these 600 Jawa machines, but here's your race leader, number 98, Liston Bell, one of the Bell racing family, of course, with his brother Lewis, and of course dad Mike also races at these events on his big BSA Gold Star. But I must admit, it's a lovely part of the country here at Thornhill near Dumfries on the Scottish borders. As we take a look at number 9, Lewis Bell in third position. But here's your race leader, number 98, Liston Bell, as he comes round to start his last and final lap. Now we have 5 laps for the classic bikes, and of course the pre-1984s, which will be coming up soon, will have 7 laps of this Thornhill racetrack. But it's still Liston Bell, your race leader, as he begins his last lap of this pre-1968 class race. And it looks like Lewis Bell in third position is lining up a pass on Andrew King on the HIS Stormer. It still looks like Andrew King in second position with Lewis in third. So it's a win for Liston Bell, and this is a battle for second place between Andrew King and Lewis Bell, but it looks like Andrew King is going to cross the line in second place on the Charlie Robertson HIS Stormer, with Lewis Bell crossing the line in third. Okay, next up we're going to go straight into the pre-1975s up to and over 300cc. Quite a good collection of bikes in this class. Number 180 there in the blue is Archie Baird on the Nori Patty 3L CZ machine. Looks like Lewis Bell is also going to take part in this race. But we're just waiting on our official starter, Stuart Riddle, getting the OK from the clerk of the course to let the race begin. So everything looks good. So as I leave the line, it's quite a good start by Stuart Roden on the big CCM machine. Archie Baird's also made a good start there in second position. But as they exit turn 1, it's number 20 Stuart Roden who leads at number 180 Archie Baird. So as they make their way round on lap 1, it's Stuart Roden from Lewis Bell, Derek McCauley, and in fourth position there is number 79, that's Liam Lamb on that 1975 two-stroke Michael. But as I said, a very short lap of this Thornhill racetrack, but a good battle developing here between Stuart Roden and Lewis Bell, number 9. So as they come towards us, it's Stuart Roden who leads Lewis Bell. I think Lewis is back out on his 600 Jawa machine once again. So as they head to complete lap 1, it looks like Derek McCauley's in third position with Liam Lamb in fourth, but it looks like Lewis Bell is now past Stuart Roden for that track position. So it's now Lewis Bell, your race leader, second Stuart Roden, third should be Derek McCauley. It looks like Lewis is now beginning to open up a bit of a gap on second place man Stuart Roden, but another good ride here by Lewis on the big methanol burning Jawa machine. There's Stuart in second position, Derek McCauley's in third, Liam Lamb's in fourth, and it looks like Darryl Wiley there is in fifth position. And in fact I think this bike of Lewis has had to undergo an engine rebuild from the previous weekend at the Westmoreland County Showground Scramble, when Lewis had a bit of mechanical trouble with his big Jawa, so he's rebuilt it during the week and is now trying it out before he heads down to Reading for that big British Championship round. So Stuart Roden still in second position. Oh, it looks like Liam Lamb has come a cropper there coming into the turn, but looks like he's okay and back up and running. But it's still at number 9, Lewis Bell, who has a quite decent lead over second place man, which is Stuart Roden on the CCM 4-stroke machine. I think it's Derek McCauley who is still in third position. But the weather forecast for this area of Thornhill was to be showers throughout the day, but as yet we have not seen any rain, and it's absolutely perfect for this kind of racing. There's a second place man just going through, Stuart Roden on the CCM. But as Lewis Bell begins his last and final lap of this pre-1975 race, we're looking at number 79, Liam Lamb, who is on the 75 Michael. Looks like Liam is up and running after his little spill. But as he heads towards the checkered flag, it's going to be a win for number 9, Lewis Bell. Stuart Roden here, number 20, is still going to cross the line in second position, so it's still a good result for Stuart. And it's going to be Derek McCauley on the Bultaco who's going to finish in third. Now normally we would have the 125s racing at this part of the programme, but unfortunately there wasn't such a good turnout of 125s at this race event, so we've decided not to include them in this video. I think there was only about 3 or possibly 4 125s taking part in this event, but we are now looking at the first race for the pre-1984 bikes. And these of course were the twin shock bikes back in the day, but I think there was about 30 or just over 30 bikes in the pre-1984 class registered to race at this Thornhill, so quite a healthy collection of old twin shockers. Now some of the guys to look out for in this race are of course number 2 Paul Chiappa. Also look out for Mark Kenny on that big 4-stroke C&J machine. Craig Smith, who is also riding a Michael, is another rider to watch. Now our race starter Stuart Riddle is telling the riders it's 7 laps of this Thornhill racetrack, so looks like we're good to go. And as they leave the line, it's a cracking start by John Stokes on the 490 Michael. Looks like Craig Smith has also made a good start there. So as they come into turn 1, it's John Stokes first, Craig Smith second, David Loudon is in third. It looks like Graham Smith is in 4th position on that 400 RM Suzuki that we saw in our paddock video. So as they make their way round on lap 1, it looks like it's number 2 Paul Chiappa who has the lead of this first pre-1984 class race, number 2 on the 490 Michael. Second is Craig Smith, third is John Stokes, fourth is Mark Kenny on that big 4-stroke C&J Honda machine. So as they cross the line to complete lap 1, it's still Paul Chiappa first, Craig Smith second, John Stokes third, and Mark Kenny in 4th position. As we take a look at Craig Smith, number 25 on that black Michael. Craig, a very talented rider on one of these twin shock racing machines. Looks like John Stokes is in 3rd position. There's Mark Kenny there, number 121 on the big 4-stroke Honda. So we've already completed 2 laps of this Thornhill racetrack, as we're taking a look at Mark Kenny, number 121 on the Honda. So it's still Paul Chiappa in 1st position, second is Craig Smith. It looks like John Stokes is in 3rd position with Mark Kenny, number 121 here in 4th. But here's your race leader, number 2 Paul Chiappa, with the green number plates on his bike. It's these are supposed to be for a 250 bike, but this is almost definitely a 490, and these were just green plates that Paul had lying around his workshop and stuck them on, but they should be of course yellow plates with black numbers. So it's still number 2 Paul Chiappa here, your race leader. Second is number 25 Craig Smith, and it looks like Mark Kenny has now moved up into 3rd position on the big Honda, so Mark's certainly on the move. But it's going to be the first win of the day for this man here, number 2 Paul Chiappa, as he heads towards the checkered flag. Second is going to be Craig Smith. It looks like Mark Kenny's went a bit wide on the corner there, but Mark is still going to cross the line in a respectable 3rd place position. Now these of course are just the highlights from this round 2 event and not the full races, as we take a look at the pre-68s up to and over 350cc class for their second race of the day. And as I mentioned, these are just the highlights, not the full 5 or 7 laps associated with each class. But as they leave the line, it's a good start by Andrew King, but Peter Dobinson on that Rickman Triumph looks like he's made a good start. But once again, it's one of the Bell brothers, and it looks like Lewis is now taking an early lead of the second pre-1968 class race. So it's Lewis Bell on the Jawa. Second is Andrew King on the HIS Stormer. Liston Bell is now in third position. Now, even although this was a very short racing lap here at this Thornhill racetrack, most of the riders I asked certainly enjoyed the layout of this track, and as you can see, old school racing with no fancy jumps, just natural landscape here at Thornhill. But it's still Lewis Bell who leads his older brother Liston in second position. One thing about these two guys, you can always guarantee that these two will always race each other, brothers or not. So it's advantage Lewis Bell, number 9, with Liston very close behind. But two very talented young classic racers. So as they cross the line to complete another lap, it's still Lewis who leads Liston, but it looks like Liston's going round the outside. It's now Liston Bell, your race leader, from Lewis, number 9. As we take a look at number 112, that's Andrew Johnson riding his old Dot Scrambler, a nice old British made machine and quite rare. But here's your race leader, number 98, Liston Bell, who leads his younger brother Lewis, number 9. But these brothers certainly don't look like they're using this as a warm-up event for their big British Championship race next weekend. As we take another look at Andrew Johnson, maybe this is an old bike, but Andrew pulls this bike along on his trailer with an old Austin Metro car, which is about as old as the Dot machine itself. But as a race leader comes towards the finish line to start his last and final lap of this second pre-68 class race of the day, it's Liston Bell, number 98, who leads at number 9 at Lewis. But I think Lewis will still have a go on this last lap to see if he can maybe pass his older brother, but it's still Liston who leads Lewis at number 9. So as we pick up our race leaders as they head towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's still Liston Bell who is your race leader, but Lewis very close behind at this point. So it looks like Lewis is going to try and have a go as they head down the downhill section of the track. So as they head towards the checkered flag, it's still Liston with a slight advantage, but Lewis is going down the outside. Oh my goodness me, I think that was a photo finish by all accounts. But here's the battle for third and fourth between number 4 Robert Kennedy on the Cotton Star Maker and Peter Dobinson on the Rickman Triumph. Okay, once again we're going straight into the second race for the pre-1975s up to and over 300 cc. Now we had a good race between Lewis Bell and Stuart Roden in that first race, and the race of course was won by Lewis, number 9, with Stuart Roden in second position. But some nice bikes out there in that pre-1975 class, and it looks like we're all good to go for another 5-lap race. Looks like somebody's having a bit of trouble with their machine. So your race starter, of course, is Stuart Riddle. Looks like we're all good to go. So as they leave the line, a cracking start by Andy Mallock on that CZ 360 bike. But as they head into turn 1, it looks like Archie Baird has made a good start, but it's Derek McCauley on the 250 Bultaco who's now in second position. So it's Archie Baird on the Norrie Patty 3L CZ machine, a lovely looking bike, but Lewis Bell looks like he's going down the outside. Looks like somebody's went off the track there. I think that's Craig Dixon, number 121. So as the riders make their way round on lap 1, It looks like Derek McCauley on the 250 bull tackle. Second is Lewis Bell. Third is Archie Baird. Fourth is Stuart Roden. Fifth is Liam Lamb, one of the Wiley brothers, going through there. Although I don't think our first shower of the day is not too far away, as it begins to dull here at Thornhill. Still a few spots of rain falling at the moment, but we're looking at our race leader, Lewis Bell, who leads Derek McCauley on the 250 bull tackle Persang. Archie Baird is in third position with Stuart Roden in fourth, number 20 on the CCM. Liam Lamb is just behind Stuart on that 75 Michael, but it looks like we've got a change of leader now. It's that man again, Lewis Bell, who is in first position. Second, Derek McCauley. Third, Archie Baird. Fourth now is Liam Lamb. Fifth is Stuart Roden. That's Darryl Wiley just going through there. And number 49, that should be Ian Marr on his CZ. But it's still Lewis Bell on the 600 Jawa 4-stroker who leads Derek McCauley on that 250 bull tackle two-stroke. Archie Baird is still in third position. Liam Lamb is in fourth. Stuart Roden is in fifth. And that's Craig Dixon there, number 121, on the CZ bike. But a few spots of rain on the camera lens now as our race leader comes towards us. Lewis Bell, second Derek McCauley still. Liam Lamb is now moved up into third position. Archie Baird is fourth. Stuart Roden is fifth. Darryl Wiley just making his way through, and once again number 49, that's Ian Marr. As we take a look at our second place position rider, Derek McCauley, on the 250 bull tackle, and it always amazes me how Derek can keep up with these bigger engined machines. He always seems to do really well on that little bull tackle, even although a lot of the time he's out horsepowered in this pre-75 class. But it's still at number 9, Lewis Bell, your race leader at the moment. So as Lewis crosses the line to start his last and final lap of the second pre-1975 class race, it's still Derek McCauley in second position. But Lewis riding really well on that methanol burning 600 Jawa machine. As we take a look at our second place rider, number 29, that's Derek McCauley on the bull tackle. But here's your race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag for yet another win. It's number 9, Lewis Bell, who is going to take the win in this pre-1975 class race. I think it's Derek McCauley who's going to cross the line there in second position, with Liam Lamb in third. Of course, now that brings us to the second race of the day for the pre-1984 class. This is one of the more popular classes with the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club. A very good turnout of twin shock racers for this round 2 here at Thornhill. As I mentioned, I think there was about 31 or 32 pre-1984 bikes registered to race at this event, so we're just watching the riders take their positions on the line. Number 334 just facing us there is Kevin Smith on his 250 Michael Spider that we had a look at, of course, in the paddock. Just waiting on the rest of the riders taking up track position. Andy Malik just at the back of the lineup there on the 250 Montesa, just taking his place, but it's down to our race starter now, Stuart Riddle. Looks like everything's good to go. So as they leave the line, Billy Pentland made quite a good start there on that twin shock YZ 490 Yamaha, but as they head into turn 2, it looks like Mark Kenny has made the start on the big C&J Honda. An absolute rocket ship of a bike, this big Honda, and sounds fantastic. Graham Smith is in second place on the 400 Suzuki. Paul Chiappa is third. Craig Smith is fourth, with John Stokes in fifth position. So as they continue on lap 1, your race leader is number 121 Mark Kenny on the 4-stroke C&J Honda. Second is Graham Smith on that RM 400 Suzuki. Number 47 is Steve Moore. Number 18 is Jim Colligan. Number 176 is Colin Lee on that JBR Honda machine. So as they come round to start lap 2, it's still Mark Kenny, your race leader, number 121. Second, Paul Chiappa. Number 2. Third is Craig Smith. Fourth is Graham Smith. And in fifth position, it looks like it's John Stokes, with David Loudon, number 75, close behind. But this has been an excellent start by number 121 here, Mark Kenny in first position. Paul Chiappa is still second. Craig Smith is still third. Graham Smith is in fourth, but Mark Kenny, as you can see, has quite a decent lead now over number 2, Paul Chiappa. And we'll try and have a listen to this big Honda as it makes its way past. So it's still number 121 Mark Kenny. Now once again we'll take a closer look at this lovely bike in a future video here on my Classic Dirt Bike TV channel. So it's Paul Chiappa in second position. Craig Smith is still third. John Stokes is in fourth, and it looks like Graham Smith is in fifth position. As we catch up with some of the other riders, number 88 is Billy Pentland on the YZ Twin Chock Yamaha bike. Colin Lee making his way through again. But as you can see, the heavens opened up and we had our first shower of rain of the day, as forecast of course, but looks like the riders are still managing to make their way round, so the track could become quite slippy at this point. But it's Mark Kenny, number 121, who is your race leader. Second, Paul Chiappa. Third is Craig Smith, as Mark Kenny crosses the finish line to complete another racing lap. And of course, although the rain was quite heavy at this point, your intrepid cameraman still stood his ground and braved the elements so that my YouTubers could have a look at this fantastic racing. So there's your race leader, number 121 Mark Kenny on the 4-stroke Honda. Second is, that looks like Craig Smith has taken a tumble on his Michael. Looks like he just lost the back wheel heading down the hill, but if you take a look at it again, you can see that looks like Craig just lost the back wheel and then slid off, but it looks like he's perfectly okay. Another rider there having a bit of trouble. That's number 327. That's Richard McLaughlin on his 1980 250 Michael. But there's your race leader just going through, number 121 Mark Kenny, as he crosses the line to complete another lap, but he still has a decent lead over second place man Paul Chiappa. And thankfully the rain has abated ever so slightly, so hopefully we won't see much more rain for the rest of the day. But we're looking at number 121 Mark Kenny on the C&J Honda. Paul Chiappa is still in second position. This has been a good ride by Mark Kenny, who took the lead of this race quite early on. Mark's looking very good and very quick on that big 4-stroke Honda. Now 7 laps of course for the pre-1984 class, as opposed to the 5 laps for the classic bikes. But it's still Mark Kenny, your race leader, from Paul Chiappa in second position, as Mark crosses the line to start his last and final lap of this second pre-1984 class race of the day. Looks like Paul Chiappa is closing ever so slightly on Mark. So this could be quite a good battle towards the finish line, but it's still Mark Kenny, number 121, your race leader, from number 2, Paul Chiappa. So it's less than half a lap to go to the finish line for this race, and it's still Mark Kenny who has the slight advantage over number 2 Paul Chiappa on the 490 Michael, but Paul looks like he's certainly closer, but he's not close enough unfortunately to make a challenge before the checkered flag. So as they cross the line, it's going to be the first win of the day for Mark Kenny on the big 500 4-stroke Honda, as we take a look at the rest of the pack coming through to take the checkered flag. Number 233 coming towards us there is Kevin Smith on his 250 Michael Spider. Craig Smith is up and running again after his little spill, and it looks like somebody else has succumbed to the tricky track conditions. I think that's number 133, that's Michael Foster. Okay, next up we have the third race for the pre-1968s up to and over 350cc class, and don't forget we will have the age-related races in part 2 from this Thornhill event, and of course the age-related races are based on the rider's age and not the particular bike that he rides, but that will all be coming up in the part 2 video. But it looks like we're good to go. We're just waiting on our resident starter Stuart Riddle letting the bikes go, and it's a good start by Peter Dobinson at number 41 there on the beautiful sounding Rickman Triumph Twin. So as they all make their way round on lap 1, it's number 98 Liston Bell who is your race leader. Peter Dobinson looks like he's in second position, but looks like Andrew King is now coming up into second on the HIS Stormer. It's Lewis Bell in third. But this has been another excellent start by Liston Bell, and he has his younger brother Lewis in second position. Andrew King there is in third. Peter Dobinson is in fourth. Fergus Moody is in fifth. Number 4 there is Robert Kennedy on the Cotton Star Maker machine with the Villiers engine, and number 112 is Andrew Johnson. But of course still plenty racing to come from this round 2 event here at Thornhill, and once again I do apologise for not posting the 125 races, although I did film it on the day, but there was only about 3 or 4 machines registered to race, and I'm sure you don't want to see just 2 or 3 bikes on the racetrack. But here's your race leader, number 98 Liston Bell, who leads number 9 Lewis Bell as they head towards the finish line to complete another racing lap. And you're certainly always guaranteed a good scrap between the 2 Bell boys of Liston and Lewis. There's certainly no love lost when these 2 guys get on the respective machines, and both riders always ride to try and get the win. But it's Liston who leads Lewis in second position. Third place man there is number 41, that's Peter Dobinson on the Rickman Triumph Twin. Now our next round 3 event of course will be held at Cumstone Farm in Lockerbie on the 8th of August. So we're all looking forward to more classic racing when we head towards the border town of Lockerbie. But it's still Liston Bell who leads his younger brother Lewis. Another good race between these 2 battling brothers. And once again, if you need any information regarding the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club, then just visit their website at classicscrambles.com, and you'll have all the information you need with regards dates and how to take up classic motocross. But as they head towards the finish line to start their last and final lap. It's still Liston Bell who has a slight margin of a lead over his brother number 9 Lewis as they begin their last and final lap of this third pre-1968 over 350cc class race. So as they come towards us, it's still advantage Liston Bell from number 9 Lewis, but Lewis is very close once again. Remember, these two had a fantastic finish at the last race and almost crossed the line together, but as they come round towards the checkered flag, it's still Liston who has the advantage over Lewis at number 9, but this could be another grandstand finish between these two. So as they head towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's going to be a win this time for Liston, number 98, with Lewis in second position. Okay, next up we have the third race for the pre-1975s up to and over 300cc. This will be their final race before the lunch break, and of course, as I said earlier, after the lunch break we have the age related races, which will all be coming up in part 2. So as they leave the line, another good start by Andy Malik on the 360 CZ bike, but Stuart Roden's also made a good start along the inside. So as they head into turn 1, it's Stuart Roden with the advantage over number 43 Andy Malik. It looks like Craig Dixon's also made a good start on the CZ machine, but as they head into the turn, it's Stuart Roden, your race leader. Lewis Bell is out there again in third position. So as the leaders come round to complete lap 1, it's still Stuart Roden first position, with it looks like Lewis Bell now is moved or trying to make that move on Stuart for the first place position. But as they cross the line together, Craig Dixon has also made a very good run there, and he's in third place currently, but it's Lewis Bell once again who's now your race leader from number 20 Stuart Roden. Things getting very dull once again. I think the rain is possibly not too far away again, but we're looking at number 121. I think that's Craig Dixon in the white. Derek McCauley just making his way through on the Bultaco, but it's Lewis Bell, your race leader, second, number 20 Stuart Roden. Craig Dixon is in third, Derek McCauley is in fourth, Archie Baird is in fifth, Liam Lamb is in sixth position as we take a look at number 43 Andy Malik. Now some of these riders are still going quite quick when you consider that most of these riders have had no racing competition for over 18 months on the track, so some of these riders may be slightly rusty when it comes to track time, but nonetheless are still doing a great job here at Thornhill. But here's your race leader, number 9 Lewis Bell. Looks like Lewis is beginning to stretch that lead now over at second place man Stuart Roden. But Lewis is certainly in fine fettle, and I would say that he's certainly ready for his big British Championship race next weekend down at the Bennett's Hill racetrack at Burrowfield in Reading. So good luck to the Bell boys when they go down there to take part in that big British Classic Championship round. So it's still Stuart Roden in second position. Craig Dixon is in third, with Derek McCauley on the Bultaco in fourth. But this has been another excellent ride by the youngster Lewis Bell, number 9 on the big 600 Jawa, as he crosses the line to begin his last and final lap of this third pre-1975 class race. Still Stuart Roden in second position, but as I mentioned a very short lap here at Thornhill, and it doesn't take these guys long to circumnavigate a racing lap at this Townfoot Farm racetrack. So we're looking at our second place man, number 20, Stuart Roden. But another excellent ride by this man here, number 9, Lewis Bell, as he comes round to take the checkered flag, and yet another win. So it's another good win for number 9, Lewis Bell, and it should be Stuart Roden who crosses the line in second position, and I think it's going to be Craig Dixon who's going to take third. Now that brings us to our third and final race for the pre-1984 class, and this of course will be the last race for part 1, and you can see all the other age related races coming up in part 2, but it's another excellent start by Mark Kenny on the 4-stroke C&J Honda. As they move into turn 2, it's certainly Mark Kenny with the early running. It looks like Graham Smith is in second place currently on that RM 400 twin shock Suzuki. Paul Chiappa is in third. It looks like Colin Lee's made quite a good start there in fourth position, as we take a look at Billy Pentland just making his way through on that YZ twin shock conversion Yamaha. But it's Mark Kenny, your race leader. Second now is Paul Chiappa. Third is Graham Smith. Fourth is David Loudon. Just pick up a few of the other riders. Steve Moore making his way through. It looks like Craig Smith hasn't made a good start on this first lap. We're taking a look at John Porteous there, number 35 on that Curtis Honda. But on lap 2 it's number 121 Mark Kenny who leads at number 2 Paul Chiappa on the 490 Michael. Looks like Graham Smith is still in third position at this point, as we take a look at some of the other riders just making their way down the hill. So as they come towards us, it's still Mark Kenny with the advantage over number 2 Paul Chiappa, and as you can see the weather beginning to brighten up ever so slightly, but this is another good ride by Mark Kenny on this big Honda, and we will take a closer look at this bike because it has some really nice exotic parts fitted to it with the C&J frame and the Honda XR 600 Michael. But we will take a closer look at Mark's bike in a future video here on Classic Dirt Bike TV. So second place is still number 2 Paul Chiappa, the Dunfermline Motorcycles owner. Now of course this pre-1984 class will have 6 races here at Thornhill, so these guys will have another 3 races in part 2, so make sure you retune to take a look at that as we watch number 2 Paul Chiappa chasing Mark Kenny, who is in pole position at this point. It looks like David Loudon has now moved up into third position. David Loudon of course is riding that YZ490 monoshock Yamaha, which of course is eligible to race with the twin shock bikes due to it not having any rear linkage. And there you have David Loudon on his 490 Yamaha. So it looks like quite a good race developing at the front here between Mark Kenny here, number 121, and number 2 Paul Chiappa. Mark looking good on that big 4-banger XR600 Honda C&J bike, but Paul Chiappa certainly looks like he's getting a bit closer to Mark for that track position. But this has been another excellent ride here by Mark Kenny at number 121. But please remember, if these are the kind of bikes you like to watch here on YouTube, then I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel. And if you subscribe to my channel, then of course every time I upload a brand new video, you will be notified immediately. So please consider subscribing if these are the kind of bikes and the kind of racing that you like to look at here on YouTube. But it's still Mark Kenny who is your race leader. Paul Chiappa is still quite close in second position, but Mark still looking comfortable on that 4-stroke Honda with the twin tailpipes at the rear. As we take a look at number 2, Paul Chiappa, a vastly experienced motocross rider. Of course, Paul's been riding these bikes since a schoolboy, as is this man here, number 25, Craig Smith. So as they come towards us, it's still number 121, Mark Kenny. Paul Chiappa certainly looks like he's gained a bit of track time on Mark in that last lap. So as they start their last and final lap, this could be a grandstand finish between these two quite talented riders. But it's still Mark Kenny, but Paul Chiappa is certainly closing in on Mark's Honda. Paul, of course, is riding that 490 twin shock Michael. As we take a look at number 189, that's Graham Smith on his 490 Michael machine. But as our race leaders head towards the checkered flag, it's going to be tight, but it looks like it's going to be Mark Kenny who's going to notch up another win, and it's going to be Paul Chiappa in second position. But once again, thank you very much for watching my channel, and please retune to see the second part of the racing from this round 2 event here at Thornhill. But once again, thank you for your time, and of course for watching Classic Dirt Bike TV.